So is autumn going to be the season of amber? Well, according to Zara, it is. They just launched 4 new amber fragrances. Sadly, these are targeted to the ladies, but amber fragrances generally from the niche world are unisex offerings. And this is considered a chapter 10 from Zara. So this is Amber Fever. This is Amber in Bloom. We have Amber Satin. And then finally, there's Stellar Amber. I'm going to let you know how these smell coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's Sebastian. Are you a fan of Zara fragrances? Don't worry, I won't be doing a lot of Zara fragrance videos, but I do have 2 planned. This one and another one. And after that, I think I'm going to be pretty tied up for a while as I'm traveling through Europe. I will not be able to buy too much stuff. Zara fragrances are cheap and expensive, and the bottles are big, so I won't be carrying stuff around. But I thought I'd get these 2 videos done. Wait to find out what the other video is all about. But I was excited to see an amber collection. I'm disappointed it's targeted to the ladies. Let's see how feminine these smell. But, you know, in the niche world, a lot of amber fragrances are unisex targeted. Let me know if you're a fan of amber fragrances in general. And if these are great, go get your bottles, because we are completely uncertain how long these fragrances will be around over at Zara. And their distribution is really strange. Even their shipping is strange, because these were shipped to me in a very loose box with some very lightweight paper. And I ordered these 4, and I believe the other collection is also 4. All the fragrances were in the box with some loose paper, and they're moving around. I haven't smelled these, but some of these have been opened, as you can see. They opened during the transportation. This one hasn't. And this one hasn't either. But these are $35.90 each. And you can see the price in UK pounds, and then of course dollars. And they're 80 ml bottles, not your traditional 100 ml. So less juice, but $35.90, $36. That's pretty cheap. And if you're in the UK, it's even cheaper, I think, unless you have to convert it. But yeah, let's get started. The first fragrance is Amber Fever. We don't have perfumer names for these fragrances, so this features notes of orchid flower, bourbon vanilla, golden amber. This one sounds the best to me. This one sounds gourmand to me, and let's see how it is. So the last time I reviewed fragrances in bottles like these were the vanilla fragrances, and there were 2 in that collection that I really enjoyed. Let's see how many I'm going to enjoy here. These are darker bottles. It's the color of amber. And some of you have been messaging me saying that amber's back in style. It's trendy again. I don't know if amber ever went out of style, because I really love this style. But maybe it's kind of making a little bit of a comeback or a resurgence or something. But I've always been recommending amber fragrances. One of my favorites is Ambre Presso from the house of Maître Parfumette Gantier. I recommend that all the time. It's a pretty intense fragrance. But let's see how this is. Orchid Flower. I've smelled plenty of orchid flowers in my lifetime. Most of them don't have a smell. So what are they using here? I can smell this already, and it smells very vanillic. So that's a good thing. It's quite peppery. It's a great smelling amber. There's a glossy smell about it. Sticky, sweet, honeyed. It says golden amber. Makes sense. And it's bourbon vanilla. Oh my god, this is delicious. This is the one I really wanted to smell. It's the first one in alphabetical order. Very ambery, light floral touches. For sure it's spicy. There's a peppery quality about this, and I don't know where it's coming from, but maybe there's some additional notes mixed in, and they're only crediting us the 3 notes here. Not as floral as I thought it was going to be, but there's a creamy consistency, syrupy, sticky, sweet. That's yum. I can only imagine how it's going to wear on me, but Amber Fever, super delicious for $35.90. That's going to be great for autumn and winter. So the next one is Amber in Bloom. This bottle was also opened. And Amber in Bloom obviously sounds like blooming floral notes, so it's a floral amber. And again, it's the same price for all the fragrances, 80 ml for $35.90. These are Eau de Parfum concentration. This one features notes of jasmine, tuberose, amber, cashmeran. So can be musky, but for sure floral. Let's see, is it the indolic kind of jasmine? Is it going to be, you know, animalic and musky? According to my research, it is, but we shall smell. Let me know if you've gotten your nose on these fragrances and which one of them is your favorite. So far, Amber Fever is delicious. I could see myself rocking that. I would say that's actually more vanillic than amber, but it's a great combo of vanilla and amber. Recently, I sampled Promises Promises from the House of Kerosene, and I mentioned in another video, it went more amber to me, and I was expecting more vanilla. In that case, with Amber Fever, I'm getting more vanilla than amber, but it's a nice combo. I'm not saying there's no amber in it. For me, the standout note in that one is for sure vanilla. Now let's see Amber in Bloom. Very floral right away. Tuberose bomb, I would say. I'm getting more tuberose on the strip. Less jasmine. But I think jasmine's developing. It has a very solar effect. Very sunny. Imagine, you know, the flowers baking under the sun with that kind of a fragrance. It's reminding me of that. I guess maybe slight funk there, but not much. On skin, probably more. And it's developing into an amber for sure. It's getting golden, syrupy, a bit honeyed. But for me, the jasmine and tuberose are quite dominant here. I'm gonna spray. I don't know. Do I want to spray the Amber in Bloom? Let's go to the next two before I spray. But I know for sure Amber Fever is top-notch delicious. I wish I knew who the perfumers for these fragrances are, but I feel like Zara doesn't publicize the perfumers in these bottles. Have you seen any perfumer names listed for any of the fragrances in those bottles? And is this chapter 10 meaning it's the 10th collection? I'm not the biggest expert in Zara fragrances, but let me know if chapter 10 means this is like the 10th collection of fragrances for this series or something. Okay, since the next two bottles have not been opened, I will use my nice blade here to open them up. So the next fragrance is called Amber Satin. And Zara has posted that this features notes of amber and warm spices. Love warm spices. Warm spices can refer to cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg, and these kind of spices. For me, fresh spices are like cumin, black pepper, although they have the warm characteristics, but for me, like cardamom and coriander are very fresh spices. Ginger, all these notes are kind of fresh. But for me, mostly the warm spices are cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves. So let's see what kind of spices they have in this Amber Satin. And let me know if you've sampled these. Are you a fan of Zara fragrances? You know, sometimes you'll find... Oh, man, cinnamon. Bomb. Cinnamon is totally, like, taken over here. But let me know. Sometimes there are some good fragrances from Zara, and sometimes lots of duds, for sure. Wow, this is a cinnamon bomb. They are not kidding about the warm spices, that's for sure. Because as soon as I sprayed it, all I smelled was cinnamon. This is holidays, for sure. I don't understand the Amber Satin name for this, but this smells like the holidays. Just imagine you've got those holiday candles burning with the warm spices. Maybe you're baking some pie with like cinnamon and cloves. That's what it smells like. Right up top we get warm spices, and that's pretty much it. It's very spicy, and it has a bit of a woody characteristic as well. But man, cinnamon is king here. Really king. This one to me, sadly, even though I love cinnamon, and I drink cinnamon tea all the time, I make black tea with cinnamon and chai spice kind of a tea. This has a little bit of the vibe of those candles that are the Yankee candles. It's got a bit of that kind of a vibe. So to me, it smells a bit cheap, unfortunately. But I mean, I'm sure it'll find a crowd. But it's very spicy. It just smells like... I don't want to say it. It almost smells like pumpkin spice, which I cannot stand. that thing has been overdone, I think. So it kind of has that kind of a vibe. Very warm, spicy, and just reminds me of pumpkin spice. I have a Trader Joe's nearby, and when I go there in the fall, it smells like pumpkin spice, and it's a bit overwhelming. And they overwhelm you with that pumpkin spice smell, and that's what this kind of reminds me of, sadly. So the next one and the last one is Stellar Amber. Which one do you think is going to be my favorite? I already know. But let's see what Stellar Amber is all about. This one's a fruity amber, according to the notes. Again, it's 80 ml for $35.90, featuring notes of pear, peach, osmanthus, frankincense, and saffron. What do you think of this one? Do you think I'm going to like it? I'm trying to smell it from this strip without putting it to my nose. This one seems a bit subdued. It's like not smelling it much. The other three were pretty strong on the strip. Huh. I think this one will come alive on skin more. It's not jumping. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I think it smells a bit more niche to me, but not done in a good way. I feel like it's very subdued. This one deserves skin. Let's try it. My favorite is still Amber Satin, by the way. That stuff is amazing. For $35.90, if I was broke, that's what I would wear. Because I love the way it smells. Yeah, I feel like Stellar Amber is definitely very niche. It smells a bit experimental, but in a very bright, fruity way. It doesn't smell very designer to me. On skin, it's better than the strip, but still seems closer to the skin. Whereas Amber Satin... No, that's not Amber Satin. What am I saying? Amber Fever. I should say Amber Fever. Amber Fever is so delicious, guys. Very, very delicious, and I love the way it smells. It's the orchid, vanilla, and amber. On skin, it's a bit more balanced. It's not like more vanilla compared to the amber. And of course, it's mostly vanilla and amber rather than the orchid. What kind of orchid are they using? On skin, sadly, also, it reminds me a little bit of Ambroxan. It does have a bit of Ambroxan vibe. So most likely where they have the amber note. It's funny, with the strip, it was actually quite syrupy, sticky amber. Very interesting. I wonder why it's got Ambroxan on skin, because I didn't smell the Ambroxan at all on the strip. And once again, it smells delicious here on the strip. I'm not as excited on skin. I mean, it's developing into what I smelled on the strip, but up top, instantly I smell Ambroxan when it's first sprayed. Almost like the Ambroxan dominates. Yeah, it's still my favorite, but I'm a little underwhelmed with this particular collection. Sadly, not as good as the Vanilla collection. The Vanilla collection was really, really great. And if you haven't caught that video, please go catch it. Especially if you're on the market for vanilla fragrance from Zara. And if they're still selling, I highly recommend the two that I recommended in that video. I think they were great. But this collection, sadly... Let's try this Stellar again. There's a bit of a waxiness with the Stellar Amber. Like fruit wax. Do you remember those during the Halloween as kids? We used to have these little chewy, waxy kind of candies. Fruity. It's kind of reminding me of that. Strange. And then Amber Satin is very spicy. Like cinnamon spice to the max. It doesn't even smell like chai. It smells more like cinnamon spices and more about pumpkin spice. I think the Floral one is pretty good. If you like the idea of flowers and amber together. It's more flowers for me. But on skin, it might be more amber. I think the first two are pretty good. Even the third one, I like it. It's just different. It just feels like a bit experimental compared to the other, which are a bit more conventional. Anyway, those are my thoughts on these new amber fragrances from Zara. It's the chapter number 10, it says. And it's 4 amber fragrances. These are targeted to the ladies, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they are. I think the most feminine is the Amber in Bloom because it's got the white flowers, and I personally consider floral notes on the feminine side. But there's no real rules. Wear what you want when you want. I think I've seen plenty of fragrances like these targeted to the unisex, so they're unisex targeted. So for some strange reason, they've put these in a collection for women, because last year they launched the Olivia Jacobetti fragrances in the men's collection, and I felt those were fairly unisex, if not even feminine leaning. So it's a bit confusing for me. If you like the smell, wear it. And I think still Amber Fever is my favorite, but it's a bit underwhelming, this collection. But they are only $35.90, and if you're on the budget, I think these will satisfy for sure. $35.90 is very good for a price, and if you like the idea of a bit more gourmand vanilla, go with Amber Fever. I keep saying Amber Satin, but it's Amber Fever is my favorite. Amber Satin is the one that's with the spices. Very pumpkin spice characteristic. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Let me know if you've sampled these. Let me know which ones you like. Let me know if you've sampled them and you hate them. And if there's any other Zara fragrances I should check out, let me know. Again, I'm not sure I'll be able to sample more and buy and review. But who knows? If I see something along the way, on my way somewhere while I'm in Europe, maybe I will check some out. Maybe just do a review on one fragrance if I consider it really great. But either way, guys, appreciate you tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. Okay, I thought I'd record a little extra here to let you know what Stellar Amber is reminding me of. So Stellar Amber, I said it was kind of waxy fruits, but the more I'm smelling it on skin, it's reminding me more of plastic fruits. It's very fruity, and there's a waxy, plasticky characteristic about it. And I said it was very niche to me. It's not your conventional kind of smelling fragrance because it's got that weird plasticky vibe. But now that I've smelled it quite a bit and thought what it smelled like, what it reminded me of, and I'm not kidding, it does remind me of it. I haven't smelled them side by side, so we'll see once I spray them side by side. It's reminding me of Show Laird's 1945 Collection Black. Have you guys heard of this? I've spoken about this here and there in videos. I've posted about it. I visited this house in Tokyo, Japan. They're from Japan. And this is a very strange, weird fragrance that I actually really love the smell of. So I'm going to go ahead and spray them side by side and see how close and how different they are, because it reminds me of one another. At least Stellar Amber does. So Stellar Amber had the fruity notes, plus it had the Osmanthus, and of course the amber note. And I did mention it was a bit subdued on skin. It's opening up a lot more now. But let's go ahead and smell the 1945 Black as well from Show Laird. Let me know if you're familiar with this house. I don't think they're going to be identical, but I think it's mostly about that waxy, plasticky smell of the fruitiness. When I'm smelling them side by side, I feel like I get more fruits from the Stellar Amber in comparison to the 1945 Black, but they do have certain similarities, which is kind of strange. I feel like this is a somewhat experimental but fun Japanese house. If you haven't heard of Show Laird, please go find out. But yeah, it reminds me of 1945 for sure. 1945 Black. Not identical, but for sure it has similarities. Anyway, just wanted to report that to you guys in case you've been wanting to get your nose on this. See you later. Bye-bye. By the way, guys, if you haven't picked up the latest Scent Club kit, number 11, it's selling now, and we have some more left, so get your kits before we run out or we close the shop. We have 3 amazing fragrances in the kit. One of them is Fresh Passiflora. There it is right there. Really delicious sweet tart peachy fragrance. Malamata, which is a really gorgeous green fragrance, uber fresh. And then Room 1015's Wave Child, which is a bubble gummy candied watermelon beachy tropical creamy thing. 3 amazing fragrances in the kit. They're 5 ml approximately bottles, and it's selling right now. Don't forget the Scent Club kit number 11. It is selling now, and as I had reported, the store is going to close and we won't be selling anything in the store for a good month and a half. So if you're in the market for some new fragrances, get your kit now. See you later. Bye-bye.